Welcome back to 5-Minute Bible Study. I hope I never forget what these verses teach. Matthew 13:44-46. The kingdom of heaven is like treasure hidden in a field. When a man found it, he hid it again, and then, in his joy, he went and sold all that he had and bought that field. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant looking for fine pearls. When he found one of great value, he went away and sold everything he had and bought it. And so I had written here that God's kingdom is like a small box full of fortune, buried in a regular, old, unspectacular field. It was nowhere spectacular. And then a regular, old, boring man finds it. He is no one spectacular. Why was he digging? Or was it just sitting there? But whatever it was, he found it and he hid it again. He didn't want someone else to take it or find it, so he protected it so he wouldn't lose it. And then he was so excited, and I pictured like people on Oprah, he was so excited that he went home and sold everything that he had. And I wrote here, did people think he was crazy? Why was he so happy? There was no proof yet to show why. Like, he didn't have the fortune with him, so he couldn't show them anything. But he was obviously different. They could see that. And so, what is the kingdom of heaven like? It's like a spectacular treasure for unspectacular people. And then, God's kingdom is like a business owner who's just trying to make a living. He's looking for something spectacular that will provide for him to live. And when he finds God and all of his promises, when he finds that pearl, he sells everything else that he had, that something that was sub-spectacular had bought him. He had found other things, other treasures, and sold them, but nothing was like this. So he sold everything he had gotten. His old stuff that he had lived for previously, it wasn't so spectacular or important. And I wrote here that he held on to nothing in order to get everything. Who knows how long he was a merchant searching for valuables, but it was just that one most precious thing that he had ever found that made him give up everything else that perhaps it had taken years for him to find. And in both of these circumstances, both had to find it. Both had to protect it. And both had to give up everything else they'd had for this one thing. They had to give up everything previous to finding that treasure in order to keep the treasure. But the one guy especially, he did it with joy. May I never forget that the way I am trying desperately to choose to live my life is worth giving up all the other unspectacular things that I have believed to be spectacular for so long. And may I remember that God's treasure and God's promises are spectacular, and they were made for unspectacular people like you and me.